Bomb site, and he's now
Hey yo, what's going on, everybody? Got another keyboard stream today. Well, a continuation of last time. Moobot, yes, yeah, I finally set up the bot. So if you do exclamation mark build, it should have, I hope, the things for the build already in there. But yeah, so we'll be continuing the build from last time, where I finished removing all the switches and putting on the new LEDs. And now at this point, we'll solder back the switches in and put this board back together. But first, actually, you need to fix one small problem with this thing. Yeah, the bot was pretty chill. That actually wasn't that difficult to set up. I was kind of happy for. So yeah, from last time when I had first put this together, sorry, I was getting the cable. We had kind of discovered that one of the LEDs was dimmer for some reason. And let me see, I'll try to demonstrate that right now. Come on, come on. Yeah, so you can see this guy right here is a little bit dimmer than the other LEDs. And I figured out why. actually. So that one was really bothering me. And then I took a little bit of time. So I don't know. Let's see. We'll try to see if we can, if the camera picks it up. I'm not sure if it will, but let's see. I don't think it is. So anyways, let me see. This, which one is it? This resistor is a different value from all the other ones, which is why it's dimmer than the rest of the LEDs. And we can verify that with a multimeter real quick. You can actually check this thing. Second. Yeet. So we got a ye old multimeter on the side, right? We can look at R53 here. Comes out to about 10. Let me see if I can get that to hold real quick. Oh, come on. This damn multimeter. It's actually kind of annoying. Cool. So you get it to hold. You can, or once the glare stops. Maybe that helps. So you can kind of see we have about 10 kilo ohms, more or less, for that value. But when we look at, oh my god. When we look at the, so that was R53, right? R53 coming up to about 10 kilo ohms. However, when we go ahead and look at the rest of the resistors, we'll see like this one's only about 331 ohms. So the higher resistor value would limit the current going to the LED, which in turn would make it dimmer. And I'm not really sure actually why only that one is coming up with that 10 kilo ohm resistor value, because none of the other ones are. So like the one right next to it, coming up to 331 ohms. This one, R52, also 331 ohms. We just pick like a random one. Also about 329, so about 330 ohms. So yeah, not really sure what's going on there. And it's really bothering me that it's kind of dim compared to all the other ones. So let's see. We have a plan to fix that. So the plan is, let me turn this guy off. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Some sort of weird nonsense, some like factory BS. I don't know. Maybe the roll had the wrong thing. But we have a couple of surface mount stuff here. So, I mean, this is not too far from what would be in the pick and place machine originally. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can kind of see. You can kind of see in here we have a bunch of different surface mount resistors. These are, it says 39R. I have no idea what that means. We'll probably have to, we could check it. Luckily, I have already pre-picked the correct resistor value for this. Let's see. It should be in this bag, but as you'll see, it is tiny, tiny as hell. So this will be a fun. So actually, yeah, I don't know. Let's see if you can kind of make that out. It's that little thing right here. We'll have some fun soldering that guy today. Hopefully it's not too bad. I don't know. I've never really soldered anything that tiny. So we'll see how this goes. We get our trusty iFixit stuff out. Hashtag not a sponsor. Yeah, so this will be kind of interesting, I think. I don't really have anything super specialized to get rid of the resistor, so this will be kind of hacky, I think, ultimately. We want to get rid of this guy. Let's see. The camera can pick something up at least. Yeah, so we want to get rid of this guy. Oh man, you can even barely see that there. Yeah, we're trying to get rid of that bad boy. We'll see how that goes. Honestly, I think the strat is going to be to just roll with it and see what happens. So let's see. I'm going to turn on the lovely fume extractor that I got here. Feel free to let me know if it comes through in the audio. I'm trying to do some filtering on it, but I might have gotten it wrong, so we'll see. It's kind of nice. Oh, let's see. I guess I'm going to zoom out a bit just so you can see the little fume extractor going to work. I don't know if it'll come up on the camera, but it's actually pretty cool. I think that looks pretty neat, how just sucking up everything so it doesn't end up in my lungs. So let's see, we want to get rid of this R53 guy here. So yeah, let's see. I'm not really sure what my strat. I guess maybe some solder wick. Let's see, we'll try to use some solder wick to get rid of some of the solder from one side, and hopefully then we can just kind of lift it out. Beautiful. That guy's out. I don't know if it'll... Oh, perfect. Yay, I'm glad to hear you can't hear it. There's our culprit right there. Managed to get that bad boy off. Where's the good one? Ah. Almost lost the good one. See, the thing, damn things are so tiny. So, just clean up these pads real quick. Yeah, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, actually. It went smoother than I was expecting. I think, let's see, the strap for putting them back on, though, this might be a little tricky, so I'm probably just going to add a little bit of solder to these pads. And let's see, if we get lucky, maybe I can just drop it in and call it a day. That's the good one. Oh, you mean for the value of it? Probably a good idea, considering whoever's making these things already proven to be somewhat unreliable, I guess. Give me 1 sec. Alrighty, let's see. So we get our ye old multimeter again, and so we're just gonna do a quick sanity check of this of the new resistor that I'm gonna be slapping on. So let's see. I think you guys can kind of see it. Let's see. So hopefully this one should be 330 ohms. And yep, we got 333 ohms for this new resistor. So we can put this where we know that we got the correct resistor value on there, as opposed to previously. This is gonna be the tricky part though. We'll be attaching this bad boy. Let's see. The nice thing is it's not directional, so we don't really care. Size wise, thankfully it's about the correct size. Let's see. Well, actually, I feel like this might not be too bad. Well, that might have spoken too soon. Let's see, that side's attached. Let's see if we can get this other side attached. That's pretty jank, not gonna lie. See if you can spot where the bodge job was done. Maybe here? I think this one looks okay, right? Doesn't look too trashy. I mean, for not having like the correct tweezers or anything like that, I think we could roll with it. The only thing is, I guess, we'd want to check we want to check its resistance again, right, to make sure that it's at least yeah, I think it just, yeah, exactly, you just need to clean up the what do you call it, the flux. Check its resistance. We get our nice 333 ohms. It would be kind of nice to see if I could verify just to ensure that there isn't a short circuit. I think I should be able to do that. Like if we went like positive leg to the other side of the resistor, you should see, yeah, the 333 ohms there. Yeah, so see actually, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So if we look at right, because in theory we don't really want a short circuit, because otherwise that means that I bridged these solder pads, or these pads here. So if we check from like the far side of the resistor to the leg of the LED, we can see the 333 ohms. So we know that we haven't bridged, like we're not bypassing the resistor at all, so we're going through it. And if we look at the other leg of the LED, we now see that the resistance is about 4 mega ohms, which means that we're now including the resistance of the LED. So we can kind of prove that this works. And of course, the moment of truth is plugging the damn thing in and seeing if it now lights up correctly. Hopefully it does, otherwise I will look like a complete fool. Oh yeah, totally. No more dim LEDs. It's like spazzing out because of the USB port I have this plugged into for whatever reason. But yeah, actually I'm pretty happy with that. That turned out pretty good. And all we had to do is just replace that one little component. So it's actually not too bad. I'm gonna clean up some of that flux real quick. Yeah, exactly. That was easier than I was expecting, honestly. I thought that was going to be a lot more difficult. Thankfully, it didn't put on too much. It wasn't too bad. So just clean this guy up a little bit just before we add on more flux. See, there we go. Good as new. No one will ever know that anything sketchy happened there. See, like once the flux gone, you really can't tell. Like, yeah, maybe that looks a little crooked, but meh, it's pretty tiny. So how would you even know, right? Cool. So let's see. With that out of the way, we can get into the real meat of this, which is finishing up the switches on this guy. So for anyone joining, we just had a little adventure in removing this teeny tiny little surface mount resistor that was causing us to have dim lighting on the board. Managed to get that replaced with nothing more than some tweezers and just a normal soldering iron. It's nothing super crazy. Like, yeah, you could buy you could get like actual tweezers for surface mount work, but close enough. Got the job done. And for the most part, as I was showing earlier, I don't think you can really tell. See, let's see. Can anyone spot the one that we replaced? It's this guy. It's the one we replaced. Just a little crooked, but other than that, no one's the wiser. Cool. So let's see. Now the meat of it is gonna be. I'm gonna turn off the fume extractor for a little bit. But yeah, so now we can get to the real work, which will be attaching the board to these switches that we got here. So just a quick recap. This is a KBD75 PCB kit, RGB backlight or RGB underglow, and I hooked up some white LEDs for the per key backlight. This is going to be going underneath some nice what are these kale burnt orange switches, box burnt orange switches. I'm going to have some clicky. So I'm making originally I was just going to make this for myself, but my coworker took interest in it, so this will end up being for him. And he wanted to have like a clicky caps lock and a clicky backspace key, which I'm going to just be using. This is a box navy, and then another box switch we'll just be using for these ones. Personally, I think that's a nice touch, right? Because then you get, like, especially for like coding work, sometimes you'll hit the caps lock without really realizing it, and then or honestly any typing, you'll hit like caps lock and you won't really realize it and be like, why am I shouting? So it'll be kind of nice. You have a very audible, like, you'll know, right? If you hit it and you're like, wait a minute, why did that click? And you're like, oh, got it. Hit the caps lock key on accident. So that should be kind of nice. But yeah. So let's see. Let's get, we'll have to go through the process of doing stabilizers, and then we got to get everything set back in. So let's get that put together. Luckily, we already had our stabilizers and stuff from last time when we removed them, so it should really just be a matter of plopping everything in the correct spots again. So I'm going to move this out of the way for now. And then, alrighty, let's give this guy a go. Oh man, I should have marked how these damn things went last time, just so I didn't have to sort through it again. Lucky for me, though, I did take a photo. So I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. I'm going to just go off of the photo I took last time instead of having to work through like, oh, which one do I need again? Mostly somewhat out of laziness, but also out of like, why do work that I have already done before? Which I guess would be kind of ironic for this build, since I had technically already finished building it before and then we had to take it apart. The irony is not lost on me, but oh, god damn it. I don't know how I feel about these snap-in stabilizers, actually. So I had to use some screw-ons before, and those are pretty nice. These snap-in ones are kind of annoying, I think, in my opinion. Alright, so check the back to make sure that it went in correctly. Good. Got a smooth stabilizer operation there. Cool, so we got that one. Let's get the spacebar rolling in. This one also has to just kind of get lined up correctly, but I think it's just, I think from last time we just did these outer ones, if I remember correctly. We're not doing anything too crazy, but I guess the kind of cool thing is this board does support a bunch of various key layouts, so it has mounting points for like a bunch of other weird stuff, weird layouts, right? You can get smaller space bars, longer ones, etc. Come on. Alrighty. So that one's in. Just check this one. So actually last time when I had put this one together, I kind of realized after the fact that I had messed up the space bar and like the metal rod thing had kind of slipped out. So let's see. But this time it looks like we kind of got that fixed because everything's moving correctly. And then we have another one down here on our shift. So let's see. Got to go back to my reference photo again. Cool. I think taking the photos was the right move. That way, again, I don't have to use I don't have to waste brain cycles thinking about it again. So this one should just snap in. Again on this side. That one's in. That moves just fine. That moves correctly. Moves correctly. Cool. And then we'll just have the one for this will be enter key. Oh no, we're missing the one for shift as well. I don't think, yeah, no, we don't need one for this one, because the layout for this will be such that shift key is pretty small, so it doesn't really need a stabilizer. So we really just need one for backspace and our enter key. So the next one is going to go up here. Yeah, that's right. Now I remember. I remember thinking like, wait a minute, aren't I missing one of the stabilizers? But nope, worked out. Let's see. Just got to get that last one in. Come on. Ah, Jesus Christ. Cool. Moving correctly. That one's moving good. That one's moving good. Moving correctly. Moving good. Cool. All the stabilizers are solid. So I guess, yeah, I mean, stabilizers, right? If anyone doesn't really know, they really just kind of keep the key in place, like especially for these bigger ones, like the shift key. They help reduce some of that like wobble and stuff, because otherwise you would just have it attached to the switch in that one spot, and the key would kind of flop around all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a fan of this board. I really like it. Like I said, this was originally going to be for me, but I love the RGB hype, right? It's 2020. If your peripherals aren't lighting up in hella colors, are you even like using a computer correctly? In my opinion, of course. Alrighty, so this, let's see, from last time, this part was kind of annoying just because of like trying, like, so these switches, right, they're not moving, they're not going anywhere, but again, this case lets you do a bunch of different things, so like these ones down here can move, so it's pretty annoying to kind of like align everything. And then actually one thing I kind of just remembered, since we had desoldered these, although see, we had desoldered these switches, so I was thinking, oh, maybe there'll be some solder residue left on them that might get in the way, but giving them a quick look, and it looks like all the legs are pretty clean and straight, so we might actually get kind of lucky there. So with any luck, this will just end up being like a, you know, align the switches and then we can drop everything in type of deal. But yeah, it might not be too bad. But yeah, so let's see. So again, we want a clicky backspace. Backspace is up right around here, more or less. Let me see. The way I did this last time is I kind of would put the case on top so I could kind of see where the switches would line up and, you know, what we're missing. So like, for example, this guy needs to go right about here, more or less. And it needs to not move. And then we'll get our clicky backspace. See, like, I don't know if you can tell. This switch has a little bit of residue on the leg right there. So, nice thing is that's pretty easy to clean off, right? We just kind of give it give a little whack of the soldering iron. Pretty cake. Not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it's just kind of one of those things you have to keep in mind, especially if you're like reusing switches essentially, which is kind of what we're doing here. I think this one goes in right about here. That looks about right, more or less. Nice. Well, we might have to juggle it around a little bit, depending on how much space we ultimately end up having, right? Because it's kind of difficult to just eyeball them. So. Well, actually, I wonder if I could just put in, like, line it up and then just drop in the switches from the top. Let's give that technique a try, because I really don't feel like taking like 5 hours to try to align everything. So let's see, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what my strategy is going to be here. Like, we'll use the ones that don't move as like alignment. We'll drop the board down and then we can pop the rest of the switches. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully it's not a decision I regret in like 20 minutes. Let's see. Although yeah, from what I remember last time, this wasn't too horrible to kind of like align. It was just kind of annoying. Or it had like its little quirks, right? Because the like, since there's these like bent legs, you can't just really drop the board down. Kind of have to go in like from the side and like shuffle it in. So like that was kind of silly. So let's see if we can get this going. Yeah, like see right now we're already kind of hitting that stabilizer is kind of hitting this guy out. So we might just get rid of this guy for now. And let's see. Round two attempting to slip it in. Okay, cool. That side's in. Let's see this bottom side here. Okay, cool. So we're through. Now we really just kind of have to line up all these switches. So let's see. I'm going to flip this around. The nice thing is right through the holes we can kind of gauge where everything's sitting. Oh, let's see. That might actually not be too bad. It looks like it might be behaving itself today. That might have gone smoother than what I was expecting. All of these seem to have just kind of just dropped right in. Yeah, let's see. I think that went a lot smoother actually. Most of the switches seem to have lined up. The board does feel a little wobbly, like when I push down on it, so it's not entirely flat, but that could just be the PCB itself not being like 100% flat. Because I'm not really seeing anything weird from back here. Let's see. Let me just turn this around real quick. Make sure that like stabilizers are correct. Yep, those are moving nicely. That moves nicely as well. Let's see. So let's see. Why aren't you perfectly flat? Actually, one thing I forgot to take into account is the LEDs I added. Those could be getting in the way. Shoot. Okay. Hey, Twitcher, how's it going? Welcome back. You're just in time for trying to watch me slide this board back into the housing. You did miss the resistor, the surface mount resistor replacement. That was exciting. With non-surface mount soldering equipment. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna just do a sanity check, make sure that with those LEDs that I added, pretty much just want to check that the switch sits flush, right? Because some of the LEDs might need to be bent a little bit. Oh, do you really? Dude, so I just put, I replaced this guy. So that was exciting. We replaced this guy. Can you tell which one was the one that ended up being replaced? Let's see. Judge my work, Twitcher. Let me know. How did it go? Yeah, right. Like I feel like, yeah, especially, well, I mean, it is pretty tiny. Let me see. Maybe I need to get something better as a reference. I will preemptively apologize if you're not in the US, then the quarter reference will have like no meaning to you. But yeah, so I guess, yeah, in relationship to a quarter. Yeah, it was a little crooked. Wait, which one did you say? R33? Oh no, yeah, you got it. R53 technically. Or yeah, R53 is the one that got replaced. A little crooked, but we're just using some tweezers and stuff. I think not too bad. And we tested it and it works, so I'll take that as a mission accomplished for me. I'll give myself a pat on the back for that one. But yeah, what was I doing? Oh yeah. So next thing is, let's see. I just want to make sure again. Yeah, dude. If it works, ship it, right? We'll get it. We'll get it in V2. We'll get it in V2, right? That's when we'll fix it for everyone. This classic software philosophy. Okay, so this LED is a little iffy on that leg, so let me see. I'm gonna just see if I can just push it down a little bit more. Cool, thanks. Yeah, man. We'll see you soon. Okay, cool. LED's back in. What's going on here? This one's flat. Thank you for the luck, my dude. Like, I already feel luckier. So yeah, just real quick, just make sure that LEDs are flat and the switches can sit here, because otherwise the board won't sit flat. So actually, yeah, like here, this one's already problematic. The switch doesn't really want to sit too well. So what's going on there? Ah, yeah, I remember these. So this board is kind of weird in that the top row of LEDs, like the holes, were wider for some reason. So the LEDs had more of a chance to just kind of float around wherever they wanted, which is kind of odd. But so we can kind of just bend those a little bit. It's not too big of a deal, honestly, at the end of the day. But yeah, most of this is kind of just double checking our work here, making sure that this board will just kind of slide right in. So yeah, so see this, like this one too would have been a problem. The switch isn't really sitting too well, or at least you have to fudge the switch a little bit. And to me that one kind of makes sense, because again, like I mentioned, the holes for these ones are bigger. I don't think you can really tell from here. So the LEDs had more there was more play, I guess, in terms of their positioning, or more variance, right, in terms of their positioning. They weren't exactly centered like some of the other ones. I kind of wish, I don't know if there's, or I've been looking around a little bit for like a board with RGB like backlighting for the keys. I don't think I've really seen one, or at least like not one that has, whatchamacallit, not one with like RGB backlighting as well as like RGB underglow is what it seems. Like most people just doing like one of each, from what I could tell. But it'd be pretty cool to get RGB backlighting, so I don't know, maybe. I kind of want to try doing a stream where I'm just doing like a PCB build, or just doing like a PCB layout. Like I think it would be cool to do kind of like the whole start to finish, right? Like stream doing the layout for the PCB, and then ordering it, and then building it like a week or so later, or whenever it shows up. I think that'd be kind of neat. Do like a keyboard start to finish type of thing. But, yeah, I don't know. I've been just trying to find like like the PCB layout software again. Like originally, I don't know if anyone's familiar with like Eagle. Was gonna use that, but it looks like Autodesk bought them, or Autodesk bought Eagle, and so now it's like part of their subscription. The subscription thing, kind of just like Adobe with like Creative Suite and like Photoshop and stuff like that. That kind of sucks, because it's like, well, I just want to do like this one-time thing. Like I'm not trying to become a PCB manufacturing house or anything crazy like that. I don't really want to pay, a monthly subscription, but I guess that's kind of the trend for a lot of software, right? For a lot of these like big software companies and stuff like that. It's just like, well, can't, people are buying Photoshop once every 10 years, so not making enough money. Gotta start shilling some subscriptions. Oh well, I guess software engineers have to eat too, right? Alrighty, I think that was pretty much all of them. So let's get this back onto the case. Let's see if we can get lucky with the case a second time. I feel like I got kind of lucky that first time. That didn't really give me too much trouble, so let's see. Alright, that side's in. Cool. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. And then again, we just kind of lay this back down. Make sure that everything seats correctly, which it looks like it actually is. You know, the nice thing is, so like I've desoldered like 2 entire keyboards at this point. I have like zero fear of like desoldering at this point. I feel like I could desolder anything, no problem, without getting like a, you know, without having like a nice desoldering gun or anything like that. So I feel pretty proud of myself. Yes, once again, we have our fancy fume. We have our nice fume extractor here. Now, no longer sniffing up all these solder fumes. I was kind of excited to be able to finally make some use of that. I feel like I should have probably gotten one of these a while back, or yeah, but whatever. As long as you do it right. I'm like really amazed at how like crazy some of the like fancy fume extractors get. Like I was like, oh, it can't be that bad, right? It's like it's pretty much just a vacuum cleaner with like a filter on it. But it's like, oh no, please give us $500 for our fancy vacuum cleaner. I was like, bro, what? How? Okay, so I just wanted to put those 2 switches down. That way we have something holding this in place while we kind of get the rest of these guys put in. Hopefully that was a decent strategy. It might not have been. That might not have been the smartest play. Yeah, man, that's like a freaking crazy expensive vacuum. Like, why? Although I guess maybe what's going on is like maybe the kind of people buying that, it's like, oh, like businesses are buying this, not like just some random person, you know, for like some soldering, you know, hobbyist thing. So maybe that's their reasoning, is just like, oh, well, like business is buying this, so we can charge whatever the hell we want and someone will pay it. See, I'm gonna solder in a couple more of these just so that this thing doesn't move around too much as I'm kind of going through this. It's funny because I remember shoot, there was like one time when I was doing a bunch of soldering. Hey, my guy. Did you really get some? Did you get one of these? It's pretty nice so far. I've kind of been liking it. Like, let's see, zoom out a little bit. I like it. I was trying to see if like anyone had put whatchamacallit, like made like a little hose attachment or something like that. But I haven't really seen too much of that, so I don't know. Maybe that might be like another side project for later. Try to figure something like that out, because I think that'd be pretty neat. Maybe it might improve it. Or at least I guess the draw from having like a vacuum thing, like one of those vacuum, like I don't know. Here, let me find an image of it. I think it was this one. Ah, yeah, like this bad boy, right? The nice thing is with like having like the hose on it or whatever, is that like right? You could put like the box like underneath the desk or whatever, and then just have like the little hose sticking out, which is kind of nice. Like I'd be pretty down for that because I guess this isn't that big, but still it's like valuable desk space. Oh, nice. Damn, dude. Hey, can you just slip me one my way, please? I'll send you my address. You just mail one over. Yeah, it's kind of nice. So I think yeah, there was one time when I was doing like a bunch of soldering, and then like I would notice I'd get these like headaches after like 2 or 3 hours of like soldering. I was like, I remember thinking like, man, these headaches are kind of weird, and they only show up after I do this. And then I thought about it for a bit. I was like, oh, like, yeah, like, you know, whatever's in there is probably not that great for you to be sniffing. Oh, lol. Yeah, see, I feel like that would be the legit thing, right? So the funny thing is, I don't really have like any ventilation going on in this room. So it's like, yeah, the fume extractor is moving the air, but like in reality, it's really just kind of just moving it elsewhere in the room. So yeah, like a full on something out of the building would be a legit thing. Forgot I had some more of these guys. But yeah, dude, I don't know, the headaches thing. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. But yeah, I was noticing like, yeah, just like headaches. I'd start getting like really weird headaches after doing a lot of soldering. I don't know if it was lead free. I don't think it was. I think it's just the same stuff that I'm using here, which is just one of these guys. So this is all leaded stuff. I had kind of been thinking about it. I don't know if it'd be worthwhile to go to the lead free, just because like it's harder to work with, I guess. But like, I have all the stuff for it. Like, you know, like I have like a decent soldering station that can kind of do like the high heat. So I'm like, I don't think it'd be that bad. But I don't know. I remember seeing that like some of the chemicals in like lead free solder are just as bad as the lead, if not worse. So doesn't really seem like there's too great of a solution. This one I think is going to bother me. I can already tell this switch wants to get crooked for some reason. So I need to be careful on that one. Or were you suggesting I should get lead-free solder? Let's see, hold up. I'm getting kind of tired of doing the zoom thing. Let me see if I can get my little zoom thing working. Hey, what's going on, man? How's your night going? DJ Mikey Mike in the house. Let's see real quick. So I'm just gonna get the zoom controller thing going. I just gotta wait for this camera to boot up. Don't mind the camera thing. All right, cool. Dope. There we go. Now we got zoom control, my dudes. Yeah, I think the inserting switches from the top method is going to work out, hopefully. Well, mostly because like those switches are really annoying just because they don't, like the other ones for the most part hold in quite nicely. Yeah, the other ones for the most part hold like the case does a good job of holding them in, but those ones are just kind of whack. So you have to be like, see, even like these two right here, like they're really easy to get crooked. Like I don't know if it shows up that well in the camera, but like you kind of have to place them. I'm gonna have to be extra careful with those actually. Otherwise, like I'm gonna just be super annoyed whenever I look at that. And it's mostly because of the. Do you see how the holes there are bigger for the switches on the top? So if you look at the size of these holes, right, versus like the size over here, I don't know why that top row like is just more massive, so it doesn't really hold them in that well. What do you mean to delete? No, so the layout for this board here, let me find it, is a little different. God damn it, trying to find like a good photo that isn't absolute garbage. Yeah, so the layout for this keyboard is pretty much just like this, where you get like your function keys here, you have like your extra stuff like your home, page down, delete and stuff, and then backspace. So that's kind of why there's that like other extra row, right? Like that's why there's like this stuff here. It looks a little weird now since there's no keycaps on it, but that's pretty much kind of like the layout that it's going for. Hope that made some sense. Let me just make sure. Yeah, see, like that's hella crooked. Jesus Christ, that is so bad. All right, this is gonna be some shoddy soldering technique here. How am I gonna get that thing to be straight? Well, I guess actually, let's switch hands. Let's see how right-handed soldering works. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I'm less annoyed with that. I'm less annoyed with that, but I'm still not like super happy with it. Let me see, I'm trying to figure out how I can manipulate it from the back. So it looks like as long as they just pull this Okay, let me try that again. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Cool. I am happy with that. This one's also probably going to be like this one over here is going to be super annoying to get on. But actually, yeah, let me see. Let me get the rest of these on and maybe I'll just deal with the troublesome ones later. But yeah, I think the putting in the switches in from the top strat a lot better than kind of what I was originally going to do, which was to just struggle. Let's see, sort out that room. Yeah, see, because like a lot like this one isn't really even held in that by like much. Like you see how it's like so flimsy. So that one would have been such a pain to kind of get in the correct positioning. And actually, my bet is immediately when I flip this over, that one's gonna want to fall out. So I might just burn that one in right now, as opposed to just kind of dealing with it later. Let's get that one. Might as well get like these guys in too, just for a little bit more stability of the board. I think again, if need be, I've gotten pretty good at desoldering these damn things, so I don't really fear having to redo the whole thing again. Like I kind of wonder, because I've seen people using like the nice like desoldering guns, and like obviously that makes it easier, but it's just like I wonder how much easier, right? It's like how shitty has it been the way I've been doing it. So I just want to make sure that these stabilizers still move freely. So again, these just kind of hold the larger keycaps in place. The last time I built this, the spacebar one kind of moved around and then was a little iffy when you put the spacebar itself on. So just trying to avoid that from happening again. As good as I've gotten with desoldering these things, it doesn't change the fact that it is a pain in the butt to have to do. So I would much rather not have to do it. You know, I'm liking this zoom thing. This is like super helpful for, because like I, at least so far, I kind of like to zoom in and out just to kind of show like, you know, better detail. This is like way nicer than having to, you know, freaking like come up into the camera and like mess with it. I think I need to, maybe that's what I'll just do as a PCB, kind of like transfer all this into like its own PCB, put a battery on it and stuff. That might be kind of fun. Freaking full on dedicated camera control. So let's see. I don't know. Can you guys hear the clickiness actually? Yeah. So a coworker liked the idea of having like a clicky caps lock. All right. I think that's pretty solid progress. Let's see. I'm just gonna make sure that PCB is actually flat on here, making sure that we didn't mess up any of these, because again, it's pretty easy for like some of the switches to just kind of not be fully flush, especially like with the LEDs that I put down. Yeah, see, I mean, the nice thing is like then if you accidentally hit the caps lock, like you know that you hit the caps lock key. Even though this thing has a pretty damn bright light for caps lock indicator, like you immediately are like, oh, I goofed. All right, I think that's pretty solidly. That's not going to go anywhere. So let's get to the good stuff. It's funny because like the other day I was getting like hella paranoid, right? I forgot what I was doing, that I was just like kind of like looking up. I was like, like, you know, like why do you need a fume extractor, right? Like what's in like solder, blah blah blah. And then I was just like, you know, right, just like everything, you go on like Google or WebMD, right? And like ultimately, like, you know, I was like, all right, solder fumes, like solder has lead, so like what are symptoms of lead poisoning, you know, like all this other stuff. And then it's just like, oh dear God, what am I doing? I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, well, like maybe you shouldn't look, you're just gonna cry. Maybe I'll just start doing these streams in like a full-on hazmat suit or something. Yeah, I know, right? I just have a hospital on like speed dial or something. Just be like, yo, if I ever call you guys like from this number, like just know that like I'm literally dying. Please send help. Maybe just get like an Apple Watch or something at that point. Yeah, I think that's kind of like one crazy thing. Like Apple's done a pretty good job of like marketing an app, like the Apple Watch is like a health thing, and they've done the whole thing with like, oh, like it can help for like elderly people, right? Like if they've fallen or stuff like that. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty damn ingenious. Like I'm not much of an Apple fanboy, but I was like, okay, that's actually a pretty damn good idea. How does the background music sound, by the way? Can you guys hear it? Is it at a good volume? Damn, bro. TY. Yeah, I spent some time. I spent some time getting the audio like normalized across like all the music, because I was having this problem where like I was playing it from different sources. So like the volume would be good and then it would change source, and then all of a sudden it was like super loud. So now I got it to like normalize to like a relative volume, I guess, so it all sounds equally loud, I guess. I don't know, that was one thing I found kind of interesting, right? Because you can normalize audio in terms of like what's like the peak volume, but then it's just like, but also like humans perceive audio in terms of like how loud does it sound, and that's not necessarily just like a volume level measurements, which I thought was kind of interesting. I never really thought about it, but it's like, nah, it's a good point. Like, you know, someone whistling at like the same volume as like, I don't know, someone playing like rap music, like the whistling sounds quieter, even though they would be technically the same volume level. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate the bangers we got playing tonight as background music. Please don't sue me, Nintendo. We get the Nintendo lawyers out and they'd be like, "Yo, dog, we saw that you were playing our music. Why are you doing that?" Sorry, I hope my neighbors can't hear like the fan or whatever. They'd be like, "What the hell's the guy doing, dude?" Like, not only is he talking to himself, but like you can hear this like fan noise. Yeah, dude. You know the soundtrack slaps, dude. Come on. So actually, I should probably do a. What do you mean, this guy on the PCB or this thing over here? Hyrule Inch. For the keyboard, I think it's just, yeah, it looks like it is some generic Atmel. It's probably not going to show up. Let me see if I can get like some light on it. Nah, you're probably not gonna be able to see it, but yeah, it is just let's see, I'll just read it off. Oh, it's a Atmel Mega 32 is what it says on there. Ho, there we go, boys. So let's see, I just want to do a quick sanity check, make sure this damn thing still works after all the hell it's been through. Give me a sec. Okay, so we know the Windows key works. Okay, cool. So it looks good so far. We'll finish up. We'll need to do the rest of them, obviously. But so far, so good. I just want to make sure the keyboard wasn't like dead or something. Which I guess could happen. So actually, yeah, so far this build not too bad. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too crazy with this build. I think it's a pretty straightforward build. But I like this layout for them, so I feel like I kind of want to do another one of these at some point. Might just buy another PCB and kit because I really do like this layout. At least to me, like for using this at work, this is like the perfect layout. Like the minimum amount of keys, but you still have like function keys and stuff. So like if a coworker has to like do something on your keyboard, they don't freak out too much. But actually, it's kind of funny, like having like a mechanical keyboard on my desk, and then like people, like if someone comes over and like needs to show me something on the computer, and like there's always this moment when like they look down at the keyboard and like they kind of have this like it's like this expression of like, the fuck is this? Like I have a feeling like they're just gonna get up and be like, yeah, I'm not touching that, dude. Like for whatever reason, it's just kind of funny. People give it like this look. It's just like, this is a keyboard, dude. Like, relax. Not even that like crazy looking. Like I don't know why you're tripping out so hard. They're obviously not into the hype. Have there been any frame drops or anything like that? You guys noticing anything, or no? Is it looking pretty good? Dude, M Garcia, we gotta get you on the keyboard game next, my dude. Can't be a couple hiccups. And I was just asking because like the computer was giving me a warning, something about like the encoder being overloaded, which I thought was kind of funny. But because I'm technically like I'm streaming at 720p, but I'm also like recording a 1080p version of it, so the encoder is like encoding two streams technically. So that's why I was like, there's some possibility for it to kind of freak out a little bit. But I think 2 hiccups is worth it to get like a nice 1080p for YouTube type of gig. Hey, Hyrule, at work for those ventilation systems, what do you guys do with the air? You guys filter it? You guys like just straight up dump that into the outside? Like, should I be worried if I'm walking around one of those lab buildings? Should I just not breathe? Like for you were saying you guys have ventilation systems for your lab buildings. Like, what do you guys do with the air? Is that get filtered before it gets dumped out, or like do you guys just blow that into the outside? Or do you not have ventilation for, like, is that not how your ventilation works? Oh lol, dude. I mean, I guess I feel like that wouldn't be legit if you're just like dumping that like into the outside. Like someone would be like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? But I mean, who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if it's just like, yeah, it's just a big fan and it blows the air out of here and it's not our problem anymore. Oh, I'm trying to not burn myself, but I'm also trying to use all the solder. Tears, tears. Good keycaps. What kind of keycaps are you looking for? Like, do you have a specific style in mind, or I guess like KBD fans has some stuff up if you're not trying to like wait for group buys and whatnot. But so actually, I'll show you some of the stuff I kind of just picked up. So I picked up some of these guys from Mel Geek. I thought these were kind of neat. I don't know if you've seen these before. These are kind of cool. I was totally going for like I wanted to get like the hiragana on the keycaps, so I was pretty sick. But like Mel Geek has like some stuff. They do MDA. I've never really tried MDA before, so I have no idea how that profile is. So this will be an adventure for me. But right, Mel Geek has stuff. Novel Keys also does like a lot of group buy type things. But they also have some stuff that you can kind of just like buy and you don't have to like wait. This actually looks kind of cool. GMK Darling. I was kind of looking at this earlier. Looks pretty neat. Oof. But I don't know, K-Man. Hey, well, welcome to the stream, by the way. But yeah, did you have something in mind that you're kind of looking for, some sort of style, or what are you thinking? I feel like there's so many keycaps. The one that's on this guy right here. Yeah, dude, this is my daily driver. I've been using these for maybe like 3 years now. But yeah, these were the Dev TTY. Let me see. Which I've seen these come on and off again. Actually, let's see. I wonder if you can still buy these. But yeah, I've seen these kind of come on off and on again. Like mass or drop, I guess we'll have them sometimes. I don't know if you could still actively buy them though. Oh yeah, totally. Actually, yeah, Amazon. I guess these are $90 if you kind of want something of this style, but I don't know if you can still get like the blue colors that I have for the modifiers. But that's an option, Amazon. And I guess the nice thing is with Amazon, right, you don't have to wait. But I mean, actually, yeah, Amazon's a pretty good spot too. Like if you just want, if you just want to get something on Amazon and you're not looking for like one of the crazier themes, because like I feel like there's so much. There's like so many different things, like at least for the keycaps world that you could get. Like these are all the like group buy stuff. Like I don't know if you're not like super familiar with it. It's all the group buy stuff like GMK. Fuyu is pretty cool. I like this one. This is a pretty sick design, I think. I guess a little bit more feminine. I don't know if that's important to you. What K-Man, what setup or what keyboard do you have? Oh shoot, actually it looks like the same ones that I have. Is it getting ready for Dev TTY too? So it looks like they might do another one of these. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna do another group buy if you're looking for that exact same set. The pudding keycaps. I'm not too familiar with that. Let me see. I'm just curious. Oh, you just got something like this? Ah, gotcha. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing is that there's so many options, right? Like you can look at the stuff that they have on Mass Drop. There's all these other people that sell stuff, right? Like KBD fans has a bunch of different keycaps. They have like SA profile stuff if you kind of like that sculpted look. And I feel like, right, some of these range in terms of price, right? Like this is $100, which is, I guess, kind of steep, but that's pretty much what you're gonna pay for if you want like kind of like these more exotic keycaps, I guess, per se. You get cheaper stuff, like no doubt. Or like AliExpress has random stuff too sometimes. I don't know. These are pretty nice. I don't know if you want like that gray kind of muted look. These are kind of cool, I think. Oh man, honestly, dude, I've been wanting to get something with like this like old school Windows logo on it, like almost just for the lols. Like I don't like obviously I'm using a Windows computer right now, but like at work or whatever, I'm not using Windows, so like there's no point. But just for the lols of having that. These are pretty nice actually. Oof. I guess they're kind of pricey. 84. 80. See, I think for like custom keycaps, 84 is about par for the course, more or less. Like you're probably looking to drop about $100 if you want like something decently nice. But like yeah, like these, right? 75. Like you can find cheaper stuff, no doubt. What board are you building, by the way, K-Man? Oh, the box jade. Those are pretty cool. I have some in, like, I got a novel key tester thing that has some of those box jade. Those are pretty nice. How do you feel about those switches? What do you think about them? I guess the nice thing is it's hot swappable, so you can put whatever you want on it, right? If you ultimately don't like those. I lost the tab I was looking for. What the hell? Oh yeah, especially coming from Reds. The board I have in front of me is Reds. This was like the first keyboard I ever got, and then it was a Poker 2, and then I slowly started putting more and more stuff on it. It's kind of funny. No, the reason I was bringing this up, I was seeing the what is it, like these chalk switches that they have, the low profile ones. I'm really curious to try these out. Like they look pretty interesting. These like little clicky ones, so you can get like navies and jades, but like in this like low profile type of thing. I think that would be kind of cool. It's crazy, like the amount of, like you can just get so many different switches nowadays, right? Like when I first bought like my first keyboard, it was like, oh, there's like 4 different kinds of cherry switches or whatever, and now there's like, you know, you get this Kale sample pack with like 24 switches. Like what? It's nuts. Like it's kind of cool how much, like, I guess the hobby has expanded. That's cool. And then like yeah, like I was saying, like it's nice that it's hot swappable, so like if you do change your mind and want to try something else, you know, you can just pull the switches out. It's not a, you don't have to desolder everything or whatnot. That's kind of nice. Classic Animal Crossing music right here, peeps. But actually, since so for the people that kind of joined us or joining us now, this is a KBD75 with the Kale box burnt orange switches and some clicky randoms. So showed this to a coworker. He liked the idea of having like clicky backspace and caps lock. So just a box navy on here. That way you really know when you hit caps lock, which is kind of nice. Hopefully avoid the accidental pushes. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Pretty straightforward build on this one. And then this is the bent steel case from XD84, if I remember correctly. So that's actually been kind of funny because this case isn't necessarily designed for this board. So there were some oddities in terms of getting it to fit correctly. Case isn't really designed for it, so I'm not going to make use of like any of the mounting holes. It's pretty much just held in by the switches. But yeah, I guess the job done. And then we had some adventures in surface mount soldering as well. Got to replace one of these resistors earlier in the stream. Turns out the resistor value was different, and it was causing the LED to be dimmer. I was gonna put that up for a size comparison. Sorry if you're not in the US and you don't have a reference for a quarter. I only have US quarters, so I don't have other countries' currencies. Feel free to send me some though, if you would like your country's currency displayed as a size reference. Gladly accepting foreign currency coin donations. I'll send you, from previous stream, I'll send you an autographed space bar if you send me a coin. How about that? I think that's a fair trade, right? Yeah, man, you gotta, just in case there's people that aren't in the US, right? How are they gonna be able to reference the size if you're using US currency, man? Gotta make sure everyone's accounted for. Yeah, I guess I could go look for foreign coins, but I don't even know where I'd do that. Oh wait, these were the funny ones. So a couple of these, yeah, like this switch up here needs a little bit of extra attention just because it looks like it's gonna mount crooked if I don't kind of pay attention to what I'm doing. So let's see. The strat last time I did this was just kind of put some solder in on one of the legs of this switch, just to kind of hold it in place, and then move it around a bit while the solder is melted. So I think that's probably what I'll do again. Right, because otherwise it's difficult from the back to be able to judge whether or not the switch is incorrectly. But hey, maybe we get lucky. No, yep, see, it's crooked. Jesus Christ, that looks so disgusting. Must fix. The annoying thing is I'm left-handed, so doing this means I have to hold the soldering iron with my right hand, which is a huge rip because I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing now. I feel like I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like holding this, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? It's honestly kind of hilarious. It's just like, it's just a different hand, my dude. Why are you like tripping out so much? I think that might be okay. I can't really tell. Let's see. Maybe just try to redo it a little bit again. Hey, good enough. That's a lot straighter than it was before. Beautiful. Get the rest of these bad boys in. So yeah, these top rows are just kind of annoying. Again, just because for whatever reason the holes on the PCB are bigger, right? Like for the switch pins, like they're just wider for some reason as opposed to like these other ones down here. I don't know why they did that. I mean, for the most part, it's not a problem because the case aligns the switches. But for some of those other ones, the case kind of is a little bit more flexible, so like the switches just move around all over the place. Made kind of getting everything straight really annoying. That kind of sucked, but sometimes you gotta improvise, right? Otherwise, it'd be too easy. You can't have that, right? You can't have these things being too easy. Come on. I'm actually impressed. This fume extractor is actually doing a pretty good job. I don't know if you guys can see the smoke getting kind of just carried away. It's pretty solid, and I've yet to smell the smell of solder flux, which is something that I'm usually very acquainted with by the end of these streams. That's actually kind of nice. I'm sure my lungs are thanking me. Thank you. Thank you for not filling us with like whatever the hell's in like this damn solder. God damn it, I really need to figure out how to get I don't know, maybe I should get like a little spool for like the roll of solder that I have. That'd be kind of nice. So I can just kind of keep pulling on it instead of having to cut out these little chunks at a time. I feel like it ends up being kind of wasteful. As you can kind of see, I end up with all these little chunks of solder that I can't really use because they're too short, I guess. Alrighty, let's see. Tricky. They're like underneath the leg. Rip. Last switch, my dudes. Let's take a quick look at our handiwork. Some of these, let's see. I think these look pretty decent for the most part. Some of them are looking a little flat, so I might just add a little bit more solder to them. Like to get nice little peaks. Alrighty, I think that's good. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Since all of the switches soldered in, let's do a quick test. Make sure this damn thing works. Turn off our friend the fume extractor. Let's go back to where are we? Let's go back to our tester here. Perfect. That's looking. Oh, that one. That one's not doing anything. Oh wait, I think that one might be function. I forget what the. Actually, let me see. Is there a way? Can you specify the layout for this guy? That one might have been the function. There's our caps lock. Clicky caps lock. There's our backspace, clicky backspace, beautiful. Hey, Cuddy, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Oh, God, what did I do? Jesus Christ, what did I push? Oh, I guess we're doing the function keys. So, like, I feel like it's going to make Chrome do some weird stuff here. Oh, no. We managed to get out of that without a problem. I'm trying to think what's going on here. So this is FN. This should be for like the backlight, right? Forgot what the key map for this guy was. I hope I got it right. No, so see that? Okay, no, yeah. So that is right control, right GUI, whatever the hell that means. Why is that one not doing anything? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Oh, I think, let me see. That's our right alt. I think that one is our function. Let me see. Yes. So that's our function. So as you guys can see, there's the RGB changing. I'm going to turn the lights off so you guys kind of see that. We'll go in dark mode for this one. Oh man, that looks so nice. I'm such a big fan of the RGB. That looks dope. Oh man, like the whole breathing effect and everything. I dig it. God, this board has like so many different RGB modes, kind of nuts. Like some of these are so hilarious. Like, why would you want that to be like flashing so quickly? That's kind of nuts. Oh yeah, that looks so sick. I love it. I'm gonna have to do another one of these. These are pretty cool. I like them a lot. Old KBD75. KBD, sorry. Dope. Yeah, it looks nice, man. So let's see. That'll be actually the next step. Let's do a little bit of cleaning. Get rid of all that. Flux. Yeah, I'm really happy how it turned out, especially with like the backlight LEDs on the switches. I think that kind of cemented the look. We'll just do a quick little clean here. Luckily, we don't really need anything too crazy. There's not too much flux on this board. Or for aesthetics. Well, actually, no. It's useful to get rid of the flux. Otherwise, you might have some corrosion later on. Not purely like a looks thing. It has some use. Or it has use, I guess. The one up top is it is a Poker 2. So it's just a pre-built that I bought like a long time ago. So that's just a Poker 2 with the Cherry MX Reds, and then the the Dev TTY caps on it. Nothing too crazy. Well, actually, I guess yeah. Then I replaced the normal stock Poker 2 case with like this aluminum thing from, shoot, where did I get this? I think I got some like Mass Drop a couple years ago. This is pretty nice. I like this board. This is my daily driver, at least here at home. It's a little too loud for work, in my opinion, even though it's just red, so it's not clicky. But the thick caps along with the base make like a really it's just very loud. I think it's a little too loud for like in an office environment. But yeah, that's my first keyboard, so that's somewhat sentimental value to me, I think. I kind of first started getting into the whole keyboard things, or the whole keyboard thing. I mean. But I also have a the Vortex Race 3 is what I use at work currently. That's cherry browns on that board. That's kind of the same layout as this, where it's like the 75% type of thing. And then yeah, I like that because it still has like function keys and stuff for like doing like, I don't know if you need function keys for like whatever software you're using at work or whatever. It's just kind of nice in that regard. But it's still fairly compact, which is kind of nice. Yeah, just clean up the flux with just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. This is like some special call it. The alcohol I have in this little bottle is like some 99.9% pure whatever thing used to clean electronics, but you can really use just like normal rubbing alcohol from like a pharmacy or whatever. The only thing is, when I did use that, like it does take a little bit longer to dissolve the flux because it's not as strong, but it's honestly not a big deal. Like maybe it's a big deal if you're doing a ton of keyboards, but for the most part, pretty chill, and it gets the job done. They make like dedicated flux removal chemicals, but some of those are pretty intense, I think. Fairly overkill, I think, at least in my opinion, for some of this. I don't know. Maybe someone has more experience with using like dedicated flux removal stuff. I did buy like a little flux removal pen actually. But I haven't really used that too much. The alcohol seems to kind of work. But this also, I used it a couple times. It was doing a pretty damn good job at like getting rid of some of this stuff. But yeah, it's a little overkill for this, I think. That's kind of mostly just have that in case like I do have some flux that's like really intense. Or like really burned on flux or something like that. And the flux is like the yellow stuff. Which I found out, like, I guess they make from like tree sap apparently. Or like at least that's the reason why this is like kind of yellowy. It's made from like tree sap stuff, which I thought was kind of funny. I was expecting it to be some like weird ass chemical or whatever. But yeah, I mean there's different types of flux, obviously. So. And all flux. It's just what's being used in that specific brand of solder that I'm using. And then of course this thing right here is my little dedicated Arduino zoom controller. That's how I'm zooming the camera in and out. That's been kind of fun. That's like a little ongoing side project that at some point I need to complete. It's a little buggy. Well, I think it'd be kind of nice because there's like the keyboards with the little rotary encoders on them. It'd be kind of cool to like be able to somehow integrate that and be able to have it control like this camera that I have overhead. That'd be kind of sick. Dope. I think it's pretty much a clean board. Quick. Dope. Actually, there is a little acrylic plate that I need to mount on the bottom for this. Yeah, so this one's kind of nice because it comes with its own little diffuser plate. The only thing is, again, as I mentioned earlier, since this isn't necessarily the case for this keyboard, I can't really use the mounting screws that came with this. I'm gonna have to figure something else out. Originally, I think what I'm probably just gonna do is we'll probably just do some double-sided tape to get it to sit on the on like the legs, essentially. I think that'll get the job done. Doesn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be screwed on. It's not part of the structure per se. Let me see. I kind of want to see how that looks with the diffuser on. I'm gonna turn the lights off again. Oh yeah, that looks nice. Ooh. Yeah, diffuser kind of makes it look nice. Yeah, I'm thinking like the foam double-sided tape. I feel like that would probably work and get the job done. But I actually don't know what I did with it. I had a bunch around me, like right around here. Yeah, because like I could try to figure out how to get the screws in there, but I think that's just not gonna really hold too well. And I feel like, yes, it's like just the little diffuser panel. It's not necessarily too, like, it's not gonna get banged on or anything like that. I feel like, yeah, just getting it attached is probably enough. I don't know, what do you think? I don't know, maybe I just, yeah. Yeah, so this, I was thinking some of this stuff might kind of just do the trick for this. See, we'll give it a shot and see how this turns out. We really just needed to kind of hold it down. It doesn't have to be, like I said, super. Not like you're gonna be pushing down on this too much, so. Oh man, but it's gonna be annoying to line up though. Might just be easier to attach the foam tape to the bottom of the legs and then slide this bad boy in. I think it's gonna be the strap. Yeah, because otherwise I think that would have been kind of a pain in the butt. Nice thing is I got all these tweezers. Rip. Maybe let me redo that because I don't want it to like show through, I guess. That's something a little more narrow. Actually, it might be useful to keep the covering on it. Why is it so difficult? Tape. Nope, I don't think that went in correctly. Yeah, it's like crooked. Dope. Alright. Yeah, like we can get that one in. Yeah, that way you can't really see it from the bottom. I think that's kind of going to work. Do the same thing. Oh man, these are a little tricky just because there's like no space in there. Might be easier with the tweezers than. I think that kind of works. Although now that I'm thinking about it, getting the plate to stick on might be kind of weird because I can't really apply too much pressure. So I don't really have like a good grip on it. So that's yeah. Let's see how that goes. Might be a little. Nice thing is these tweezers are pretty nice. Good old iFixit. Damn it. Close enough. Alrighty, now let's get the little plastic part off of it. Come on. Get our third one here. Yeah, see that might have been a little bit easier than trying to just do straight onto the plate. Although who knows? Let's see. Speaking too soon, right? Actually get the plate mounted and then celebrate afterwards, not before. All right, it's looking good. Somewhat centered. Dope. That looks like that. Yeah, that's attached on there. Just kind of getting it to seat on this. The nice thing is it's just like the foam stuff, it'll just kind of be able to move around a little bit. Perfect. I like that. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Our final fitment check. Let me just get all the lights off. Lights are already off. Ready? Let's plug his bad boy in. Hey. I think that is one good looking keyboard, if I do say so myself. Good old RGB. Got our white key backlighting on the top. Yeah, I think that looks pretty clean. Oh, like up here? Yeah, that'd be kind of nice, actually. Something there would be pretty nice. Just to kind of fill in the gap and stuff. I think you're right. That look kind of cool. Hey, but I'm happy with how this turned out. This is a nice build. I really do like this board. Like all this RGB stuff. Like I know it seems kind of silly and stupid, but like I'm such a sucker for. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much build complete on this one. Yeah, you're right. Like the USB open port like that does look kind of jank, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks kind of lame. I don't know how to fix that though. I guess he could come up with something to put in there, but I mean, yeah, no one's gonna see the port. Overall, like I like this very very nice sounding, and the nice thing is like the since this is like metal, like super firm, super stiff. It's kind of nice. Oh, with cable in it, let me see. Maybe just get a cable with like a massive like lead for it, or like a big old head, right? Let me unplug this from the computer. Real quick. Rip, sorry about that. Hit the mic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like, yeah, there's a gap there, but I don't think it's too bad, right? I think it looks kind of nice. I don't think it's that bad. Like, yeah, there's a gap, and then I guess the nice thing is the boot on this cable is pretty big. Good old USB Type-C. Dope. Welp. I think that's pretty much build complete for this board. Which means it's probably it'll be it for the stream. I think it's a good time. Good solid ending for this. But yeah, I mean, thanks for everyone that chimed in and that checked this out and joined us live on the stream for this. Finally got to complete the build of the KBD75. This was solid. I really do like this board. I'm gonna have to do another one at some point, probably one for myself now that my coworker has taken this from me. But yeah, thanks for joining everybody, and yeah, be on the lookout again for Twitch notifications. Try to do another stream soon. But yeah, peace out everyone, have a good night. Laters.